family, it's good to be with you again. This is one-on-one show with Dr. Paakwesi, the African philosopher. And this is the way to welcome you to today's episode. We're delving into tarot and astrology. I am your host, Nanaya Ejapon, with an honorable person you can always count on, Dr. Paakwesi, the African philosopher. When it comes to astrology, numerology, everything concerning the universe, you can always count on him. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and comment. In no time, let's welcome him to today's episode. Dr. Paakwesi, the African philosopher.
Yes, madam.
You are welcome to today's episode.
Thank you, Naya.
Hope you're doing great.
Very great.
You are looking fabulous too.
You are also looking for me.
Thank you. Today we're delving into tarot and astrology. Let's look at the word tarot first. When we say tarot, where is the word derived from? Or how does it work?
Thank you so much, Naya. Tarot. Let me give this simple definition. Without it means there are varying interpretations you can see on the internet. The root of the word itself has been played there, so it is not something new.
Okay.
Actually, it is coming from the word Torah, which is a Hebrew word.
Okay.
Torah simply means divine law, laws of nature. We have not gotten to the peak of the topic, but I cannot use some of the cards as example since we are dealing with its introduction. Tarot simply means the law. As time goes on, I will explain to you why we have the High Priestess card, who's sitting between two pillars. One is light, one is dark. The light has the inscription Jachin. The black has the B inscription known as Boaz. She's sitting between these two. She has the moon under her feet and the sun upon her crown, in between two horns. She has a cross on her chest with a very long veil, where she holds a scroll upon which is written Torah, which is the law. T-O-R-A or T-O-R-A-H. When you turn it the other way, it becomes Ta-Rot, not Torah. Okay. And I will use the 10th card known as the Wheel of Fortune.
Okay.
I will use it as an example too for everyone to understand clearly. The law. What law? The greatest one has already created this world. But he didn't create it out of chance. He didn't create it out of or randomly. Yet he sat to plan so well and created it with his forces. These forces have become the guardians, the watchers, and the intermediaries or the betweeners between we and the greatest one. So, how these forces or entities work, either good forces or dark forces, we call it the law. So these two forces are at play every moment in time. What are they doing? These laws are governing human life. I have explained it many times in my previous videos, and everyone knows about astrology, but not much about the tarot cards. Our life is governed by the planets and the stars. These planets and the constellations we see all the time are hidden inside human feet and all the happenings on the terrestrial sphere, that is our world. So, in order for man to be able to understand how these constellations, the stars work, and how they influence situations, our ancient occultists, mercies, sorcerers, mages and sages came out with some brilliant ideas based on the deeper experiences they have had on the esoteric side of life, and they brought into existence what is known as the tarot. They are images. Some of the images represent the planet. Some of the images represent the constellations of the zodiac from Aries to Pisces. Some of the cards represent our inner and our outer natures. Some of the cards represent the nature or the caliber of people we come across every day in our lives, etc. So, the tarot are images, and each image containing varying colors possess different interpretations, different meanings, depending on which side you are explaining your point or the premises you are talking about. This is what is known as the tarot. I call it the image reading. It is one of the best forms of art human beings have ever come across in helping us to explain, to understand, and to interpret clearly how the zodiac signs and the planets work. The tarot is the answer. Some people use the tarot differently or separately from astrology, but the tarot has a strong connection with astrology. They are inseparable. Separate the tarot from astrology, the tarot has to be.
Wow.
Yes. So our ancient sages brought these images and aligned them with the signs of the zodiac and the planets. There are 78 cards.
Okay.
78 cards.
78.
Tarot cards. That is 78 images that represent these stars and these planets, as well as the 4 elements of nature.
Okay.
So the 78 cards have been classified or divided into 2 main parts. Two. We have the major arcana cards and we have the minor arcana cards. When you hear the word arcana, arcana simply means that mystery or secret. So there are major mysteries or major secrets, and there are minor secrets, minor arcana. So the major arcana talks about the most important, the most essential things that happen to us we can never forget in our lives.
That's the major
arcana. Something happened to you in the past. Maybe your money got missing.
Okay.
In town. Maybe in the year 2020. You will never forget this day. That day, or at that moment, what happened to have sunk into your subconscious mind, not to forget, is a major arcana. What happened to Jesus Christ is a major arcana. It can never be forgotten. It is something that possesses a very essential message about your life, which everyone will know without forgetting.
That is why it is being celebrated.
Thank you very much. So, in the tarot cards, our day-to-day happenings that we pay most attention to, what is happening, is what is known as
The
major arcana. The minor secret, or the minor mystery, or the minor arcana cards only represent the places or which department these things happened.
Okay.
Some say that the minor arcana cards represent the minor things that happen in our life, like brushing your teeth every morning, eating every day. Probably you cannot understand or remember what you ate last 3 weeks ago during Sunday afternoon. So it is called minor arcana. You are eating. But the major arcana cards represent something you are exhibiting, something that is hidden, which you are acting within the minor arcana. So you see, so there are 22 major arcana cards, and there are 40 minor arcana cards.
22 and then 40.
40 minor arcana cards, and there are 16 court cards.
Okay.
So it makes 76. At first, I said 78.
78.
I said it because the divisions must have begun by dividing the tarot into two main divisions of major and minor, deducting the two additional numbers from the 76, from the 78, making 76. If you add it to the 76 cards, it becomes 78. So major arcana cards, we have the minor arcana cards. Major arcana cards represent the most important, essential happenings in our lives, which we can never forget. Something that is connected to fate, that is happening from outside. We can never forget these days. I remember we went to Accra to make some minor purchases. Some con men conned us. They deceived us so much, and they told us lies to return home peacefully, for our left leg will hit a rubber bag on the way. We should pick those bags, open it, and we will find bounty of cash.
Hey.
We saw nothing.
But did you see the rubber that day?
We didn't see any rubber bag. Black, red, blue, any. It brought pain, and in fact, we wept that day. Myself and my brother, we were coaches who had some small football teams. I was a coach here, coach number 1.
Wow.
The monies that were contributed to us to be used to buy jerseys, some con men have taken them. And we don't know the story we are going to tell the players. That their monies have been taken from us. It was a memorable day. So this day is an example of a major arcana. So what the universe is pointing at you. The minor arcana will come and represent which area the thing is happening. The areas are divided into 2 under the minor arcana. Let me say 4.
4. Why 4?
4. We have the physical and etheric. We have the astral. We have the mental, and we have the spiritual. These 4 are under the major arcana, and it shows us this major thing that will happen will affect your emotions, that is the water or the soul. It will affect your mind, the thoughts. It will affect your spirit, that is the ones, or it will affect your body, pentacles. We call it the minor arcana. So the minor arcana represents the 4 elements of nature. But we don't say 4 elements of nature in the tarot. You can use it in astrology, but it is not used in the tarot. It is called suit.
Suit. Is it a code suit or what?
No. SUIT is an ambiguity, a word with more than a meaning.
Oh, okay.
So one meaning. So we have one of the suits is the cup, the wand, the sword, the pentacle. Cup, water. Sword, air. Wand, fire. Pentacle, that is earth. Cup, soul. Wand, spirit. Sword, mind. Pentacle, body. So there are 4. These 4 are working under the major arcana cards. So in the major arcana, the most important event will occur, like how I used mine and my brothers as example. We went through some emotional pain, but the thing was about money. We would be deceived, and our plans got defeated that day. Luckily enough, that day, we were under the rulership of the tarot card, the tower, the 16th card. We will explain later as the teachings go on. So it was about our emotional stuff, but it came through money as the pentacles. The pentacles represent your wealth in this life, the conditions of your wealth, what your wealth will go through, your finances. But the major arcana will come and explain everything. That are you going to squander all your money or you are going to engage yourself in profligacy through this door in your love life. And if it's in your love life, will it become emotional, your mental, or spiritual, or your material needs? You see how it works. So the major arcana cards are there. The minor arcana cards have been divided into two. We have the personal, and we have what is known as the compound. The personal talks about your 4 invisible bodies, your 4 bodies, 3 invisible, 1 visible, that is earth. Chemical and etheric body. We have the astral, we have the mental, we have the spiritual, the conditions that they will go through after the major arcana has occurred. We come to the compound. Compound simply means that in our daily happenings, there are some occurrences which I have personally seen and I use it to work through the tarot. There are earth happenings, fire happenings, airy happenings, and earthly happenings. That is how I'm able to carefully know and infer from my own experience, and some of the laws we know and infer from my own experience, and some of the laws being brought by our geniuses in the past, in our modern times. Oh, it's true. The thing will happen, but what will happen is an airy happening, it's a fairy happening, it's a watery happening, or an earthly happening.
So how are you able to identify all these?
Know how the 4 elements of nature work. There are 4 elements. Each element has its own properties, and each element has its own qualities.
Properties and qualities.
Yes, I'll tell you about that later. Know that fire is hot and dry. Hot and dry.
Fire is hot and dry.
Earth is cold and dry. Water is moist. Water is moist. But cold. Air is warm but moist. You see the difference? You will then come to how density works through the 4 elements of nature. It is very broad. We cannot treat the 4 elements of nature today. So knowing the qualities and the properties of these elements, I'm able to clearly, through my own experience, have known and identified situations as possessing earthly, airy, fairy. And the other one, I'm able to identify them. So if I jump into the minor arcana cards, it is easy. And through some learning of arts, some paintings, how art communicates to us, which we don't understand, you'll be able to identify the meanings in that image over there. Each dot on a tarot has its own meaning.
So
Major or minor arcana card.
Okay.
Yes.
So does it mean every image around us talks to us?
Every image around you. You can enter into someone's home.
Okay.
Let me use the word house. You can see the structure or the shape of the roof, and I'll tell you what is happening in the house. This, you don't need any spiritual eye. You have to be taught, apart from the fact that one needs a spiritual eye to supersense the unseen world and its inhabitants. You can see the paintings around someone's home, and then I'll be able to tell you what is happening. The direction the house is facing, I'll tell you what is happening. I can sit here with you. I call it the mystical augury. If I sit here with you right now, without talking, I'll be able to tell you what is there. But I will tell you the secret how I'm able to make all these things with 8 accorded mathematical equations, which will help you to easily identify how the thing can be done. So, if you learn art, it will help you so well. Right now, if we should enter into a Masonic temple or a Catholic temple, there are some drawings, paintings, or images I will see, so some geometric forms, and many others. The direction a certain image, the posture or the gesture, and the direction that image is facing, I'll be able to tell you the meaning. Yes. This morning, we wake up at 6 and then we saw an arc rainbow.
Wow.
But the direction it was, those around me couldn't tell me which side the rainbow is passing or facing. When I saw it, I was able to know that it was upon the plane of constellation Taurus. Yes, where I stand. And my house is just a little bit shifted from the north and south celestial poles. That is how I'm able to tell you where the orbits of the other planets are passing. If I stand in my house, I'm able to know them. I know that if this animal flies to this direction, this is the meaning. We're not dealing with animal science and omens.
Yes.
But art has a lot of messages it transfers to us. But in Africa, we don't lay much emphasis on them. We place less value on art. We have made it a second-hand course, which those people without certain intellectual and theoretical intelligence are meant to study. But art is beyond everything. All is art, because Venus is the mother of art and the mother nature. Without art, nature's comprehension cannot be complete. So the major and the minor arcana cards, they represent these things. But at the same time, you ask me if the tarot cards are able to predict the future and tell you your past and what is happening in the present, either from the major or the minor. The minor has something I have not mentioned.
Okay.
We have 16 cards known as the court cards. The court cards represent some images. 4 images.
4.
An image of a man known as king, a woman known as queen, a youth known as knight, and we have a small person or a younger person known as page.
Why is the younger page and the elder?
The other one is the youth.
Youth.
Yes. We have some different stages in life. The court cards represent those characters, people playing those roles from the outside world towards us.
You.
And I have divided them into 2 as well. I have the personal and the compound. If I use the word personal, I'll come to myself. If I see the king, the queen, the knight, or the page, any of these can represent the level at which, or the degree with which any of these 4 elements of my bodies have reached. For example, if what is happening comes from the cups, which is one of the suit, I'll mention them one by one for people. The cups. Maybe I have seen the king of cups. If I see the king of cups, it is telling me to emotionally control myself. It represents self and emotional control, meaning that emotionally I am mature.
Okay.
Within that experience, like what happened, my experience I told you about, that we went to a crime and we were being deceived.
Deceived, yes.
Our maturity at that time, if it was the cups representing the emotional, and we used the page, or we came across the page that day because we had no knowledge about it, we were deceived. So it showed some immaturity in our emotions.
So you weren't matured enough.
Thank you so much. So if you see The Page of Cups, it represents synchronicity. What is synchronicity? Synchronicity means that coincidence. Two things happening at the same time. Okay. Was this a plan? No. It was synchronicity. Did it come by chance or it came by reason? It happened to myself and my brother. It was a synchronicity. Synchronicity simply means coincidence. So the court cards represent the personal aspect. It represents the level
Of maturity.
of one's maturity. Whether the person was playing the role at the pentacle level, the cups level,
The sword.
the sword level, or the wand level. You see how it is. Then compound. Some people will be coming from outside to affect you. The major arcana card is there. The minor arcana cards too has come. But the court cards will represent those that will be acting as characters from the outside world towards you. So the king will represent somebody who is an elderly, who is more than age 40. When we come to the queen, the queen represents somebody who is far older than you, like that of the king. But the person is a female figure who will play that role negatively or positively based on what the major arcana card presents to you that day or within that year or within that month. The page, let me use this word, the knight represents a youth, someone of your mate, your age mate, your contemporary will be playing that role, good or evil, based on the type of card, major arcana card, fate, presented to you within that day, month, or year. Then comes the page. The page represents someone you are older than, a younger person. Or the person may be your slave, under you, irrespective of your age. Someone you have more power over. But if the major, the court cards, the queen and the page mixes, it will become a female, but that female will become someone you are older than, who will be playing that role. The person may be your child. The card will point you there. The person may be
your younger brother,
next door neighbors, whatever, child, whatever. So this is how it works. They are the court cards. So if you tell somebody this will happen to you, when and who will be doing that can be found in the tarot. So astrology and tarot are inseparable. Right now you have seen the four elements of nature. They are known as suits. But within the minor arcana, there is something else you should know. We call it the aces. It is not HIV, ace.
I thought as much.
No. A-C-E, ace. A-C-E, ace. Ace simply means that there are numbers from number 1 to 10, under which all the four suits, cups, wand, pentacles, and swords have been numbered. 4 times 10. It brings out the 40. That is why I told you that we have 40 minor arcana cards. I hope you understand what I'm talking about.
Yes, please.
So, from number 1 to 10, all have their meanings. Is 1, is 2, is 3, is 4, is 5, is 6, is 7, 8 is, 9 is, and then 10 is. So if it is an ace of pentacle, we have 2 of pentacles. 2 of pentacles has its own meaning. 7 of pentacles has its own meaning. This one, I need a blackboard. I need a blackboard too.
Before you can demonstrate that.
Yeah. I will teach you, and you understand clearly how it works. Tarot is easy, but it has its relationship with astrology. So tarot is relative. So numerology, astrology, tarot, cartomancy, palmistry, Ouija board, etc., physiognomy, all this graphology, they are relative. None is separate from the other.